Hey there, mama friend, and welcome to the 5-Minute Mom podcast, where we'll talk about real life, real faith, real fast. To learn more about all of our co-hosts or to sign up for a free monthly resource email, be sure to check out all the links in the podcast show notes. Well, Bailey, welcome back to the podcast because you're officially now a co-host. So,
Yes, I feel honored. I feel like I just joined a really awesome girl gang.
it does feel that way. It's so much fun behind the scenes already and so energizing and so sweet. And it's hard to believe that we all didn't really know each other that well before we came together to work on this podcast. It's been
Mhm.
so life-giving to me. And so welcome back. This is your home.
Aw.
But today I just want to dive in a little bit and let the listeners get to know you on a little bit of a deeper level. We're going to talk a lot today about your book because when I look at culture, when I look at the church, when I look at where people are, it is such a message that people need. And it is when I talk to women, community is a big hole for them.
Mm,
And
mhm.
so I am so excited to talk about this. But we're just going to get to know you a little bit better too. So, Bailey, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, the season of life that you're in right now.
Yes. I'll start with my family. Well, yes, I'll start with my family. I have been married for 7 years to a man named Tim. We actually met here in Denver where we live at our local church. And we joke because we like to pretend our marriage is like, super divine and holy because we met at the communion table.
Oh my
Um, I
goodness. I
was
met at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh,
So that's a way better.
love that. I was interning at our local church, and one of my jobs was to reset the communion table. And I think we had not been introduced, but we kind of like were making eyes at each other. And so when he came over, he was like, "Can I help you?" And normally I'd just say, "No, I got this." But I was like, "Yeah, these cups are really heavy and I need you to help me carry them." And our romance was just like fast and furious. And we got engaged after 4 months of dating. And surprise, surprise, we had children immediately. That
Oh.
was not a part of the plan. And you know what? It ended up being exactly what I needed because when we were in engagement, we had the conversation of family. And I just was not interested in being a mom. I was not interested in at least, having a kid right away. I was 24. And I said, maybe by 30,
Mhm.
we could have one child. I just didn't, I don't know. I think I just never had an affinity, didn't do a lot of babysitting, was never crazy about babies or anything like that. And also, my friends at that time, were getting married and no one had kids. So to be pregnant right after we got married in a surprising way, there was a lot I had to wrestle with. And it was very challenging. I think in just total vulnerability, I just cried throughout my
Mhm.
whole pregnancy. Sometimes it was normal emotional tears. Other times I was just like so frustrated with God and like, what, why now? Why was this happening? To the point that my husband was like, you need to stop crying about this because I want to be excited. And
Mm,
you not being excited is kind of ruining this for me.
mm,
And he had a good point. And so it was a couple of months after our son was born that the Lord began to soften my heart for kids. And I had a complete 180 from being really hesitant and resistant to this change in my life to being like, let's have 6 children. So we don't have 6 children, but we do have three. And
mm.
so our oldest is now 6 years old. He's in the first grade and classic oldest son. He is just my best friend. I like love this kid so much. And I feel like he takes such good care of his mom. He's such a special person. And we have a daughter. She's 3. Her name is Liv. And we say she's a lover and a fighter. And
Yeah,
she is
we
so
have one of
fun.
those. Yes, they keep you on your toes, man.
Yes, yes. And also just all girl. She's our only girl. And I think
Mhm.
that just makes it really special. And I can't wait to share things like my favorite book series that I feel are tailored to more girl things and
Mm.
movies. Oh, I think that will be such a sweet time. And oh man, so many things as they grow older. And then we have a 1 year old named Henry. And he's actually named after the author Henry Now. And if any of you listen or read his books, he has been a pivotal I'd say author, writer in my Christian faith. And so we love the idea of Hunter and Henry, but we decided to spell it with an I,
Oh, I
kind
love
of after
that.
Henri Nouwen.
Yes.
And then the season we're in, I will just tell you that this last year was a struggle bus. We moved, we started 2 new schools for 2 different kids. We had a baby, and things were just chaotic. Oh, and yes, I'm a writer. I was writing my book. I was like launching it out into the world. I was like, wait, what was that other thing?
Oh, please
Launching it
say it.
into the world.
That's like
It was
batching life change. Like, let's do it all
yes.
at one time.
Oh man, the amount of transitions we were going through was
Hmm.
very hard.
Hmm.
And so I want to say this summer, and even to as of today, I always say if you can make it through the first 12 months, like I feel like the child raising gets so much easier. I'm putting quotation marks,
Hmm.
easier. But you're getting your sleep back, and you just, there's so many things you're getting back. So now I feel just like we're really enjoying being a family of 5. Um, I I mean, I want to say that like our marriage is healthy, our kids are growing in their friendships with each other. But then also I feel like just regular kind of discipleship and memory making in the home has
Hmm.
been really sweet. And so I think this fall is our family's favorite time. So our most cherished traditions like going to the pumpkin patch and celebrating the first day of fall with fall soup and hosting a backyard movie night, like all these things my kids are just gearing up for. And so, all that to say, the season that we're in now is complicated, and there's a lot of sports practices for such small children.
Hmm.
But at the same time, man, I feel like we are maturing as a family, and it's just been really wonderful to see. And also, as a side note, like our son has accepted Jesus, and to see the fruit in his life. This is our oldest. I feel like again, it's just like kind of maturing the family discussions, even with a 6-year-old. I did not grow up in with faith. And so I'm just kind of, I think, in shock that someone so young can really love Jesus and have a lot of curiosity and faith in ways that I just never would have imagined.
Yeah, I love that. One thing, Bailey, I love that you bring to this podcast is like you are still in the trenches. Like you have little bitties. And when I started the podcast, I was very much in that season. Now we're getting like into
Mm,
elementary school where they're all getting into elementary school. And it feels so different than those
mm.
like early kind of like babies, toddlers. And so you've brought like such a reminder and like a freshness to that, and I think you're really gonna be able to continue to speak to moms who are new and
Mm.
joining the podcast, and so that is so exciting. But I wanna know, I shared on our intro, uh, episode that, like, I just basically prayed about who was gonna join this podcast and slid into y'all's DMs, and I have been amazed at how God has put this all together, and so I just kinda wanna know the story of why you said yes to joining us, to podcasting here, to being with this particular audience.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know, my ministry up until this point has been focused on female friendships, and it is such a fun topic. But when Audra approached me to join this mom focused podcast, I think it felt so right, but mostly opened the doors for me to really, I think, garner maybe my experience and my knowledge about friendship, but apply it strictly to mom relationships. And so I think that was a big reason. As I was like, oh my goodness, I feel like moms there, it's a whole different category of doing friendship, that those who are not in that season of having to multitask so many schedules and little people tugging on your shoulder because while you're trying to have a conversation, or just for those of you who are older and then your seasons are shifting and your friendships are shifting and there's weird tension and complications, all the above. I just wanted to really, I think, come in and speak to moms around the idea of really fostering friendships, and cultivating communities that are supportive and nourishing, where I feel like moms, at least from my experience, I'm very intimidated by moms, for so many reasons, or I feel pressure or
Mhm.
guilt or not enoughness. And then I'm asked to like bond with these people. And so I think there's a lot of insecurity that gets built
Mhm.
up in mom to mom relationships and wanting to kind of breathe life back into those and then be an encouragement. So I think that was like one side. And then the other side, how fun. I have been doing, and Audra, I felt like this was one of your motivations is I have been doing ministry for 5 years by myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm the marketing team. I'm
Yeah.
the whatever creative team. I'm just everything. And it's so lonely. It's so hard. And to
Yeah.
join a team of women, I was like, yes, absolutely. Yes, this is what I've been looking for. This is, I think, going to be really recharging and life giving. And so that was another just immediate like green light for me to move forward in joining the podcast.
Yeah, that was, I mean, hit the nail on the head. Like, I just don't want to do this alone anymore because if I do, I'm
Yeah.
not going to keep going,
Yeah.
even though I feel God is calling me to keep going. And I love
Mm,
that He calls us into community. He never asked us to do it all ourselves or alone. Like, we're all better together. And I love, like you said, we call you like the community cheerleader. We all need one of those. Like, and I am like, I call it an ambivert. Like, I'm kind of
mhm.
extroverted, kind of intro. I need like a community cheerleader in my life. Be like, yes, yes, you want this, and remind me of what matters. But really, why this book? Why did God put this book at this
Mhm.
time for you to write? Together is a beautiful place.
Think I was writing for first, maybe for myself and the things that I had walked through in friendship, but then also having spoken with other women and having experienced like the fruit of what it looks like to really invest and maybe pick yourself up, back up from having some like unhealthy friendships or disappointment in friendships, or maybe you're just like, I'm starting over and this is so hard and I don't know what to do. Wanted to really provide some tangible examples of how to make this happen with what you have and where you are. And so writing the book, it kind of starts even at the very beginning, which sometimes feels very elementary. And it's just like, what is a friend and how do you make a friend? And some of you might think like, I've already been there, done that. But surprisingly enough, like you're going to find yourself needing to make new friends in different stages of your life. And so instead of being surprised when that happens, I think it's always great to have a plan. And so having the plan and practicing, it sounds so silly, but trust me, like you get out of practice of how to really introduce
Yeah.
yourself and how to make small talk and all these things. And so the book kind of starts there, but kind of then lends itself to those who are in deep friendship but have had, I don't know, those like disappointments, those conflicts that are hard to come back from. And also working through unhealthy expectations that we just put on our friendships. So that's kind of where the book takes us. And really, it's for anyone who is just saying, I need a friend. I'm feeling lonely, or I feel like I have never been taught how to be a good friend or how to like sustain my friendships. I hope that this book can be a real gift to wherever anybody is in their friendship seasons.
Yeah, I love that. I think what sets it apart is you're coming at it from a Christian worldview, like letting your faith form so much of that. So, how did that impact as you were writing and like specifically filter into this book?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that our friendships, I should say, I think that Christian friendships should look very different from worldly friendships. And yet at the same time, I'm not so sure people would say that Christians' friendships look different. And when we talk about expectations in the book, one chapter specifically talks about like generous friendship and how we want our relationships to be 50-50. And in reality, it just will never be that way.
Mm.
Sometimes you're giving 40 and your friend's giving 60. Sometimes you're giving 80 and they're giving 20. It just is kind of how things play out because we all have different limitations and roles and responsibilities tugging on our attention. And so then when we come to pour into our friendships, yeah, it won't always be equal, but we expect it to be equal. And when it's not, I think friendships of the world would just say, okay, then I'm done. Like, I don't
Yeah.
need that person in my life. I'll just go find somebody else. Or I don't want to deal with their complications or the fact that they seem busy right now. Like I'm frustrated and I'm mad. Just a lot less grace. And instead, I think God's economy for friendship is that when I give, I am also like receiving, and talking a little bit about when I put in things like I'm initiating, I'm present in my conversations, I'm remembering to follow up with prayer, I'm texting them about their big work project, all those different things that I think make up just a friendship that is secure enough in Christ to give and put forward. Then you're also going to receive things back like laughter and connection and joy and trust. And yeah, I think those good things that you are really looking for when you are reaching out to connect. And so I agree. I mean, I think the best friendships are ones that are founded in Christ because they are free to just give um, from the center of who they are. And that I think builds a great foundation for friendship.
I love that, and, I would love for you this is a group of obviously busy moms, like, if they're drawn to
Yes.
five-minute podcast episodes, they are busy, overwhelmed moms, and so I think that can be a particularly challenging season, and it looks so different, like, I was thinking the other day, like, there was a season where I was, like, breastfeeding and working from home, and my husband was in ministry, and that was busy, and then now my kids are in activities, and we're on the road all the time, but I think for moms in particular, like, pursuing friendships, having meaningful deep connection is harder than ever. So what is your
Yes.
encouragement in that?
My encouragement is this. There's a researcher out of the University of Kansas. His name's Jeff Hall. And what's interesting is he wanted to study how people go from strangers to considering each other best friends. And when he first approached the study, he found that it's time. Time together is what makes that happen. And just to sum it up, it takes 90 hours of social time to go from strangers to feeling like your friends. And that's a lot. And it
Mhm.
helps explains why we felt like it was easier to make friends in elementary school and college because we
Mm.
had so much free space to have social time together, which is such a sweet experience, right? When people are like, you'll never have that again. I mean, it's true. You won't have community like that again. But what is interesting is that he kind of came back around and dived more into the study and realized that, yeah, people and adults don't have the ability to make those hours happen, but you can expedite trust and
Mm.
connection by sharing the things that matter most when you are together. So it's not so much about proximity to someone. Think about a coworker or a family member that you might have shared childhoods with in family
Mhm.
holidays and inside jokes about the crazy aunt with a glass eye and gassy beagles. Not saying from experience, but yes. Um, like if something happens in your life, like they're not probably going to be the person you call.
Mm.
They're not the person you're asking about their hopes and dreams and for prayer. But there might be a mom that you met just months ago that feels like you've known her your whole life and they have become your person. And so for Jeff Hall, he kind of says, if you are truly, and it goes back to the same conversation of vulnerability, but if you go back to sharing the really meaningful stuff when you are together, even if it's just an hour a week or a phone call or a Marco Polo video a few times a week, if you're making sure that you're being very real
Mhm.
and you're listening and asking great questions, then you are going to create deep connections and make your way from stranger to best friend without having to implement 90 hours of hanging out together. And so
Mm.
I think that's super encouraging
That is.
for busy moms who are like, man, I only see my friends like once every 2 weeks or something. So make sure that when you are together, you brush aside the surface level stuff and really dig in because you don't have time to waste when it comes to getting connection and serving up connection if you are limited with the time that you have.
Yeah. Okay. Last book question. And then I think we're going to go into a lightning round and have not
Okay.
prepared Bailey at all for this. Um, but I just want to know it's an obvious question, but why does community matter for being a good mom? Like, why
Mhm.
is this so important? How does this impact our families when we're intentional to pursue meaningful friendships?
Yes. Motherhood is hard.
Mhm.
Everyone who is listening already knows, so I don't need to go into the details. But it is a real challenge, and nobody is going to understand it better than another mom. There was another research that was done where participants stood at the bottom of a really steep hill and they had to wear heavy backpacks and were asked to climb up it. And if the participant had a friend beside them, they perceived the hill to be less steep. And if they
Mhm.
had a long-term friend beside them, it like lowered their perception of how steep that hill is. And I think it's a beautiful way to picture what it looks like to come alongside someone who's going through something hard because like literally in our brain chemicals, like we will just see motherhood as less hard.
Mhm. So true.
And that kind of support is so valuable. And I just think we believe we have to like walk through tough things by ourselves,
Mhm.
but really the best way to get through hard things is together.
Mhm.
And inviting moms into whatever you're going through, the good and the bad. It doesn't, I mean, I'm like, friendship is really fun. So it doesn't always have to be bad,
Mhm.
but acknowledging that, yeah, like it is really hard. And even day to day, there's moments that I'm not proud of and I like want to give up. And just knowing that there is a mom that is a text away
Mhm.
or a latte away or whatever it is, like that changes the entire game. There's an author named Melanie Dale. She wrote a book called Moms Are Scary, and it's incredible. Everybody needs to read that book.
Mhm.
And she said that one mom caring can change a family, and a group of moms caring can change a community.
Mhm.
And I think that is so, again, I'm like, that's just so true.
It is.
Support
Yeah.
can go a long way, and we need each other. And then I also believe, just in a scriptural sense, you know, we are called to lay our lives down for each other the way that Jesus has done for us. So I think being able to take the love that you understand and that you have experienced from Jesus and then having an opportunity to love somebody else. It's, I think, fulfilling the law and is a beautiful way to be Jesus to someone who maybe has never known Jesus or is struggling to see him or just like needs that encouragement from you.
Mm. I love that. Bailey, thank you for taking the time to write this book while having 3 babies and moving. It
Yes.
is obviously, just meant to be in the world for such a time as
Mm.
this. I thank you for persevering and writing it. It's just
Oh, thank you.
so, so needed right now, like I said before. Okay, we are gonna transition to
Okay.
lightning round.
Okay.
Questions about
Good luck.
Bailey. I mean, it says, a lightning round for me too, because I don't know exactly what I'm gonna ask yet. But I think we have to make this fun. Okay,
Mm.
what are you eating right now that you love?
I'm trying to eat more vegetables, so a lot of cucumbers. Do I love
Oh,
it? Sort of.
yeah, I
I
have
love
like
the
a
things that go with cucumbers, like hummus.
yeah, I have like the taste palate of a 5-year-old, so I'm always like, "Stick some green in there, Audra." I
Yes.
love that. Cucumbers, that's awesome. Okay, what are you drinking right now? It's like when we're recording this, it's like early fall, so I'm
Okay.
excited.
Well, I have a Coke Zero addiction, so I always drink one a
Oh,
day.
okay.
Coke Zero, that's what I'm drinking.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Help me think of some lightning round questions,
Mm,
Bailey. What are
hmm.
you reading? What are you
Oh,
reading?
okay. I'm reading a great book called When Words Matter Most. And
Mm,
it's how to speak truth into your friends' lives and not offend them, basically. It's actually
wow.
really great. I'm enjoying it a lot. So, reading that,
Okay, that's amazing. What is saving your life right now?
hmm, probably calendars. I love calendars, and our life is insane. So, that's saving me right now. And it brings me peace to know that I can look at the calendar, know what's happening.
Same. I love calendaring. Okay. Oh, what are you most looking forward to in the next few months?
I mean, I genuinely love pumpkins. I love pumpkin patches. I love pumpkin treats. It
Mhm.
sounds very surfacey, but I mean, I can't wait. I
I
can't
know.
wait. I'm so
See, I
excited.
like my husband's Mr. Christmas. Like he's already
Um,
singing Christmas carols, which I'm not against. I just love the lead up to Christmas. Like the
yes.
pumpkins and the fall activities. I like that.
Love
I
the
like
fall
Christmas too, but I'm more
activities.
of a fall girl than a winter girl, so
And I feel like we have some fun things. I'm hosting just for the ladies a Hocus Pocus 2 like premiere party,
oh, fun.
which will be fun. But then also we really love like trick or treating. And so we invite our neighbors and we like congregate on the front yard for warm drinks because October 31st in Colorado, like it could be snowing.
It's
It's so cold.
freezing.
It's
Yes,
so
I didn't
cold.
think about that.
So we like get like hot chocolate, coffee, and we start there, and then like everybody goes out together. And my husband is kind of anti Halloween. He like did not grow up
Mhm,
participating, and I grew up with my mom like loving Halloween.
mhm.
All that to say, I feel like I've really shown him the beauty
Yeah.
where he was just like, we're never doing that. We're not letting our kids do that. And I was like, babe, you're misunderstanding. This is a chance to get to say hi to your neighbors and
Yes.
hang out with your neighbors. And it's so fun. And now I think he's on board. It's a
Well,
blast.
one of our biggest testimonies as a family is we had neighbors right across from us. Like you roll the trash can out and they're like right there. And they
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
talk to us for like 8
Oh,
months. And we were like,
oh,
hi,
yeah.
hi, and nothing. And then on Halloween, we took our little girls over there, all dressed up, and literally became great friends with these
Oh,
neighbors. But I mean, it is a free pass to go knock on your neighbor's door.
yes.
And so I love Halloween too. I think
Mhm.
it's a great opportunity to, use it for good, and
Mhm.
be a light and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, what is your coffee order?
It is a iced tea. I don't drink coffee.
Oh, that's right. You're the tea lover. Okay. That's
Yeah.
so fun. And then what is your favorite way to connect with friends? We talked about Marco, but
Yeah. Do love, I like live in Marco Polo. But if it's in person, I really do love walking.
mm,
I just like the feel of I don't know, just like being outside walking, but then like you aren't usually having your phone with you. I feel like I can contain my kids in the stroller, so it also gives me that uninterruptedness
yeah, that's
in
good.
conversation. So I really love going on walks, um, which is great.
Okay, that's a great pro tip from a friendship expert. So,
Yes.
okay, Bailey, do you mind just praying for the moms listening as we close out today?
Yes, absolutely. Lord, I just want to lift up these moms listening today. Father, I pray that you breathe life back into their communities. Father, I pray if there has been hurt, Lord, that you just bring healing. I pray if there has been just exhaustion, I pray that you bring energy and excitement back into their friendships. I pray if there's just been loneliness, Father, that you remind them that that is not your heart for them. You long for them to be in community with others. And so I pray that you just give them, I think, the encouragement they need to go out and make new friends and confidence. Lord, I pray for the moms that are just struggling to do it all and wanting connection. Lord, I pray that they take those small moments of connection and just, Lord, that you multiply that, Father, that you yeah, really, I think, make those things abundant and life-giving and fun for moms. And so I pray that even today, as they go out, they can think of even another fun question, take some of these lightning round questions, Lord, and just they can go and start and spur on other conversations with the people in their community right next door, Lord. So I pray you cover them, that their fellowship with you, Father, sustains them, Lord, and that you send us out to go be lights to others around us. Amen.